And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, et cetera, as if the other side doesn't do it.
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, they act so self-righteous. Kept saying things like, nobody's above the law. I respect, the jury's decision in regards to my son. He didn't believe that. Really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden? Nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors is saying.
He says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearl?
You refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why we're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
Why can't you say when Democrats are wrong?
I
Joe
say
Biden
it
is
on
wrong?
the show.
No, I don't.
What's going on, guys? The cackling hens over at The View are losing their minds again because Charlamagne, the simp, the guy who supported Kamala no matter what and was capping for her just like these other hens, are now at odds with each other because Charlamagne sees this Joe Biden pardon as blatant hypocrisy, which obviously it is, demonstrating two tiers of justice system, demonstrating that the DOJ is corrupt, and demonstrating that he and his family are above the law, which the Democrats have been doing massive amounts of virtue signaling about how great and amazing and awesome and noble they are. And then saying that, hey, look how bad Trump and the Republicans are literally every single day, especially on The View. But for some reason, anytime the Democrats do anything wrong is what about Trump? And actually this thing that the Democrats are doing that is very wrong actually isn't quite so bad. Maybe lawfare is okay when you do it against Republicans.
Prosecutors are not only in the business of prosecuting crimes, we're in the business of sending out a message.
But if it's done against Joe Biden and his family or Democrats, then all of a sudden lawfare isn't fair anymore. It's a bunch of hypocritical nonsense, a bunch of every damn day. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Trump's campaign ads, for some, they're saying they were very effective. And in one in particular ad, he used a clip of you from the Breakfast Club saying, quote, Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You say that line was taken out of context. I know it was. But it went on to become one of his most effective campaign ads. I'm also featured in one of his campaign ads.
You might have been it's because y'all are stupid. That's why it happened.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
And how does it make you feel that the campaign used you like that?
Well, it's never good to be taken out of context, but I was explaining to my listeners how effective I thought the actual ad was. So I knew the immediate reaction was going to be, people are going to say, hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that. So
I find it quite ironic that they're trying to say, well, he's taking things out of context. First off, I don't even necessarily agree that anything was taken out of context with either Charlamagne or Sonny. Charlamagne did make the statements that Kamala Harris supports sex changes for migrant prisoners. He did say that, and he said he doesn't want his taxpayer dollars going to that. All they did was play the clip. They didn't say anything else. Same thing for Sonny Holston saying, well, is there anything you do differently from Joe Biden? And Kamala Harris says, no, not really. There's nothing about that that's taken out of context. But with Trump, you know what they did take out of context? Find people on both sides. Bloodbath. Liz Cheney, barrels pointed at her. Anything you could think of, every single thing was always taken out of complete context with Donald Trump. Dictator on day one. Suspension of the Constitution. Everything about Donald Trump is fear-mongering, taken out of context. Garbage. Project 2025 is completely made up in regard to Trump's support for that. So I don't want to hear nothing about stuff being taken out of context, because that was the whole Democrats' MO this entire damn election.
President Biden getting criticized from both sides of the aisle for pardoning his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, et cetera, as if the other side doesn't do it.
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, you know, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, you know, they act so self-righteous. So when he kept saying things like, oh, you know, nobody's above the law. I respect, you know, the jury's decision in regards to my son. He didn't believe that. Since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, you know, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So, but he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
Facts.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Here we go. Whoopi Goldberg, she just can't accept Biden criticism. What is with this hag? I don't understand what her problem is.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
She waited till right after the election to do this. He could have said this before, but he waited till right after the election, and here she go making his every single time when it's Joe Biden, it's excuses every single time. Where's all of this benefit of the doubt for Donald Trump?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors is saying. He don't have to do that.
At some point, you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that they're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen,
they don't have to do that.
I'm mad at him because he changed his.
Oh, no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
mad. No.
This is just such a stupid conversation. All he's doing is calling out the obvious. It's a wrong thing to do. He lied. Trying to say, well, he changed his mind. That's the stupidest argument ever. Like, I'm not going to give no type of benefit of the doubt whatsoever, because even if he changed his mind, you could still consider it a lie. If he says, I will never pardon Hunter, but you know what, tomorrow I might change my mind, or I might change my mind after the election. It doesn't matter if he changed his mind or not. It's still considered a lie. If somebody changes their mind, it's still considered a lie. If you say, I'm going to work this job for a year, and you change your mind and work for 6 months, you lied. It doesn't have to be like you were being malicious, but you still lied about it. Like, if you do what you say you're going to do, then you're telling the truth. If you don't, it's a lie.
And on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice. Democrats ran on that. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls? What is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of thing?
Well, that's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist. And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Ain't nobody more delusional than me, right? Okay.
We're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
But why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? If you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but that's not
the way to go.
But that's not a monolith.
And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are
wrong. So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't.
Well,
Can
that's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't make it through. I can't make it through the episode. I'm trying to get through it. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. These people are just so ridiculous. They swore that nobody was above the law before until it's Joe Biden. All of a sudden, it's okay. And Joe Biden didn't do anything wrong. These are the people who said that he wasn't cognitively declined either. These people are stupid. And I don't understand trying to lie to people's face. Clearly, it didn't work in this election. You would have won if it worked. So why keep doing it? How it really, I guess they think people are so stupid that it makes them the stupid ones for thinking people actually believe them. Like, maybe some people, but certainly not a lot. Like, you have literally no respect. Everybody makes fun of The View. That's what these videos are for. Making fun of you and delegitimize. I'm not laughing with them at all. Well, they're not laughing, period. But we're laughing at them. I don't understand how they don't get it. I'm sure that they know that people are making a bunch of reaction videos about them, laughing at them, roasting them, criticizing them, so on. So why keep telling these obvious falsehoods? I don't understand it.
Dude, the president has a part in power,
you're
right?
ridiculous.
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg.
Yeah,
I would never. I said that. I just think that's.
Think about
Come over
it.
and give
Just
me a
think about
kiss.
it this way.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Yo, I just ate lunch. I'm about to throw up, bro.
Can you reframe it in this way? People are saying is that Joe Biden is now a liar, as opposed to Joe Biden is someone who now knows that the person that is going to be in the White House is on a revenge tour and his son is on an enemies list. And so he is using his rightful power, his rightful political power, to pardon his son.
I mean, okay, where's all of this logic as it relates to presidential immunity? Where's all this logic as it relates to Trump remaining on the ballot, not being called an insurrectionist because he's never even been charged with being an insurrectionist? Just the Supreme Court in general. Where's all this logic? Because they're talking about, well, the Supreme Court is corrupt. Now, all of a sudden, we're worried about the DOJ, when before the DOJ was considered fine when they're politically persecuting Donald Trump. These people are completely inconsistent and hypocritical as hell.
Now, is that a lie, or is that perhaps being pragmatic, having a change of opinion, as opposed
He always knew that Trump could win, so what do you mean? Yes, it's a lie.
to who has the moral high ground? Like, what's the faux outrage?
Neither one of them have the moral high ground. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. But like, it's like we're watching them do something wrong, but we're making excuses for it. When you are a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican, you refuse to be objective about the other party. We watch Republicans do things wrong, and they make excuses for it. Why can't we just all be objective and call it what it is?
Because it's not balanced.
Thank God the clip ends right there. I can't take no more. My freaking stomach started hurt. She's talking about, come on here, give me a kiss. Like, even on the cheek. Like, just even looking at Whoopi Goldberg makes my freaking skin crawl sometimes, if I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. And no, I'm not just saying that to be mean. It is the truth. I make these videos because these radicals need to be delegitimized each and every single day for all of their stupid opinions. They need to be made fun of. They need to be ridiculed for how ridiculous they are. It needs to be pointed out how hypocritical they are. Charlamagne criticizing them one time today for not being objective is not enough. They need to be criticized every damn day, or at least almost every day, as much time as I could possibly muster and as much Whoopi Goldberg as I could possibly stomach without hurling all over my freaking microphone. It's a sad day when Charlamagne, the simp, like, this guy's not objective usually at all. It's a very sad day when even he is calling out the cackling hens on The View. Charlamagne, the voice of reason? Well, when you're talking about competing at literally the bottom level of intellect, which the cackling hens have never demonstrated having a single rational thought or any amount of brain cells in their head since the inception of the show, then it makes sense that somebody like Charlamagne, who also isn't what I would consider to be an extremely intelligent person, would be able to easily point out their lack of objectivity and effectively their lack of intelligence. Even if he inadvertently did that, he definitely did that and effectively called them delusional and irrational, which they absolutely are. Now, is him criticizing them today gonna make them do some sort of self-evaluation and realize that perhaps that they're wrong? No, absolutely not. They're gonna keep spouting off the same BS and nonsense. I wish Ana Navarro was there so you could heard her just spouting off a bunch of annoying nonsense. By far the most annoying person on that show is Ana Navarro. All of them got problems, but Ana Navarro is the most obnoxious, and maybe, I don't know who's the stupidest, because there's I hear a lot of them, but I feel like Sonny Holston, the person who a lot of them probably think is the smartest, in my opinion, is the dumbest one. But Ana Navarro is definitely the most annoying one, and all of them, every last one of them got some problems. I don't respect the intellect. I don't respect the credentials. I don't respect the show. I don't respect nothing about their pedigree, including Whoopi Goldberg and all them movies she was in. Yeah, I seen Sister Act, but low-key, in my opinion, that movie was kind of trash. I didn't care for none of them joints back in the day. So it just is what it is. That's just my opinion, guys. But let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching The Black Anomaly. Ration Show. I'm out.
Like, it's like we're watching them do something wrong, but we're making excuses for it. You refuse to be objective about anything. So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't. And can I just point this out?